Today I'm going to be talking about business growth tips for moms over 40. So if you're a mom over 40 and you wanted to learn how to grow your business and you wanted to do so with minimum money spending, I'm going to go ahead and give you some of the tips, guys, for how to grow your business. So the most important part, guys, is to use organic traffic. So obviously you want to use Threads, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Buy Me Coffee, and all the other platforms, as many platforms as possible. And when you go on live on YouTube, what you want to do, guys, is you want to use very short words, generic words. So you want to split your strategy across highly generic words, like the one, for example, like the ones that I just did right now. And yeah, you just use those words over here, and this way you get to cover a bigger audience set versus just being hyper vertical. So in simple words, let's say you have a niche, and obviously you guys already know my niche is moms over 40 with pets, kids, and dogs. Obviously you guys already know that. But when I create content, what I do is I create some videos that are just generic, very generic, that have very generic topics. They're not hyper focused, and I throw them in a mix. I mix it up a little bit, guys. So when I go on YouTube, I mix it up. Now the other styles of videos that I create are hyper focused. So I do combination of generic and hyper focused, hyper niche focused videos. And if you do this, guys, you're going to be able to get combination of different types of audiences. And of course, you want to use the back of the funnel type of videos where you start off with some of the keywords that are people already aware of. So the best way I could describe this, guys, sometimes you see me use keywords like GMV max metric and AOV and CAGs and ROAS. So as soon as I use those keywords, I already know that I'm going to get some savvy type of business owners who are aware of those keywords. I already know they're going to be the ones jumping in. If I was to create just extremely generic keywords, and it's not going to be, it means either A, not express a lot of interest, or B, it gets a bigger number of people joining your channel. So that's kind of that's two strategies that I'm using, guys. Those strategies you want to iterate. So what I mean by that, so let's say you have a small business and you're trying to grow this business, and you're trying to do it one step at a time, one video at a time. But let's say it's not happening. Let's say you went live on YouTube and for whatever reason you're just not getting any views. What YouTube does, it slows you down, guys. Depending, like if you use repetitive kind of wording, it will slow you down and it won't push that video. I hope that makes sense, guys. So if for whatever reason, let's say you go live on YouTube and you're getting like one view or whatever, right? So just kind of remember that if you see this number of views not going up to like 5, switch it up and jump into TikTok and go ahead and blast and go live on TikTok. So like if YouTube is not rewarding you, jump into TikTok, guys, and talk about the same exact thing, whatever that you were trying to say on YouTube. This is a strategy that works like a clock, guys. So like, let's say I'm gonna repeat the strategy again for anybody who just joined. So to grow my business, what I do is I use AI content-driven automations in combination with different platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Buy Me Coffee, etc. So, and when I do that, guys, I use different titles. When I go live, I use different titles. I use like short-term content title, like a really generic, sort of like this, business use. Let me give you some business tips for how to grow your business. So obviously it's a generic title. So when you go live, guys, use the generic words that are extremely short, and that applies also to Threads. So if you're using Threads, definitely, guys, do the same exact thing. Now keep something in mind, when you go broad, the chances of you catching the right audience in the right mindset and the right moment reduce exponentially. So you guys kind of remember that. So let's say you're looking at the views, you're creating a short form content or whatever the live content, and you starting off your live with extremely broad topic like this one over here, like whatever you just joined for the same topic, business tips, right? If you're doing this, what happens is the person on another side who is watching your video has lots of reasons to run away, and not continue watching through. Okay, guys, remember that. So what did I repeat? What did I just say? I said when you go live, right, and you create short phrases and use generic titles, the chances for you to lose the person who just jumped in and watching your live are a zillion times more versus when you start off with extremely specific topic. And as a result of that, you look at whatever the kind of title that you create, and you'll be like, damn, this is not working. You get discouraged, but you never actually recognize the fact that you should go a little deeper and use more back of the funnel type of content. That's when I started seeing a lot of progress, guys. When I started seeing back of the funnel strategy working for me. Before it was like crickets. No matter what kind of videos I would be creating, it was just crickets. Now short form content definitely was fire. Like who the hell is beeping me? But anyway, the bottom line is short form content was fire. Like you could use generic phrases for short form content on YouTube Shorts and get insane amount of views, sure. But when you go live and you have short form like phrases, generic phrases, the chances of the person who just joined your live for them to run away and bounce are extremely high because they're not exactly like they're not getting engaged to the fullest. This is the first time they're seeing your live, and the chances are you're not going to be able to convert them. But should you still go with generic content? Sure, absolutely, you should still hit it with generic content, but you got to mix it up, guys. So this is like the first tip that I got to provide to you. The second tip that I wanted to provide to every business owner is you must use combination of different types of social platforms. Now I know this may seem cheesy, like why should I do that? Why should I use multiple social platforms? How do I know this is gonna work? Guys, I used to be like that too. I didn't really think it was gonna work until it did. So that's when I was like, oh my God, I gotta double down on this. This is absolutely thing. And a lot of business owners totally excluding this from their side hustling service delivery life cycle. So especially if you guys doing this as a side hustle, this is absolutely crazy, guys, not to do. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about it's absolutely crazy for you not to use different social platforms. Like literally, I had a lead come in today and register for my workshop, which I wasn't able to do for like a year and a half until I started doing precisely what I'm describing now, guys. So what exactly am I prescribing to you now? Well, the first thing what you want to do, you want to obviously create, and before I even talk about that, I wanted to tell you something, guys. Allow me to say that, because if you allow me to say that, then basically you will get out of this as a happy camper, and you're going to be able to save yourself from spending colossal amount of time doing things the wrong way. So the first thing what I did is I created a far-looking funnel page. That funnel page just had all sorts of combinations of content. It had like my YouTube video from a year and a half ago, another YouTube video from like a year ago, a video from 3 months ago. And like as I was looking at those videos, I knew that I needed to go ahead and kind of catalog them. I knew that I needed to identify what kind of videos I have created, and I knew that I needed to organize them. But it's just the entire thought of just thinking about like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I ever going to go through all those videos? The thought of being exhausted and trying to go through those videos was just kind of like holding me hostage, like a process prisoner. So instead, what I did is eventually, sooner or later, I was able to get through some of that content and catalog it and categorize it and name it. And those are, unfortunately, the boring things. And I know it may seem like this is something you don't want to do, right? But trust me, guys, if you do those boring things, that's when you start getting those leads. And I wasn't doing any of that boring stuff. I was like, man, I just want to create content. I don't want to be doing any of this organizing my content that I already created for a year and a half. So obviously, guys, you know, you don't want to do that. You want to focus on the boring stuff. I know that's not the advice you wanted to hear, but in case if you, for whatever reason, tired of doing boring stuff, or perhaps maybe you don't have the brain cells to figure out what would be the boring stuff that would create that impact that you're looking for, then this is why you would want to check out my Freedom Fusion System, my talent agency, where we make it easy for you to understand that boring stuff that you want to systemize and automate and ensure that you increase your leads. Now, keep something in mind, leads is one thing, but building your feudal kingdom and iterating through different types of products is another. And of course, this is something I'd like to cover in the next topic, but this is, since I'm only getting like 0 views, I'd like to jump out of this topic. Apparently the keywords that I picked are not really picking up pace, so I'm probably going to switch it up and make it more spicy. I'll see you next time, guys.